Hey, homies. Stop scrolling and stay a while. I would love to chat with you about your yoga practice. And I'm availing myself on this self-care Saturday in self-care September in a bit of a Q&A kind of way. But it's a very spontaneous live, so stay tuned for our Q&A. And here, if you're seeing this, it's not by coincidence. If you're staying, it's not by coincidence. And if you have like a warm beverage or a notepad, let's do this. Let's drop into a year's end practice and just mini elevating moment together. What's the biggest challenge to your yoga practice, homies? Why aren't you getting to the mat every day? Because I'm in my 9th year teaching professionally, and 12th, I don't know how many years. I started practicing yoga when I was 12. I got to redo the math every year. It's just whatever. Point is, I know a lot of reasons why people don't get to their practice every day. And I know that some reasons are harder to overcome than others. Some are very design-focused solutions, and some are lifestyle changes, and that practice is humbling in that way. When our accessibility to the practice is limited, we need to change the way we practice. So yeah, I'm gonna have to drop some timestamps or something for this video. I'm gonna share at least 3 simple tools that I make sure my yoga practice is in my everyday. And I'm really using the broad definition of yoga here. This is not just asana, but daily asana practice. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I know you want to know how to get your daily asana practice on every day. So I will also mention how you can design some things in your home to make that happen. So yeah, I'm rolling these crystals in my hand because they are just 7 little polished rocks. They actually came from different moments in my life, so they're not a set or anything like that. And the actual specific rock is not important to me. These rocks sit in rainbow order in a place where I see them when I'm walking in and out of a room, like in transit, if I'm leaving the house or if I'm going between rooms or on my way to the bathroom, for example. So that little visual cue of these 7 colors often just makes me happy, calms me, right? But it also helps me because I've built the habit of taking a good deep breath and building a little mind-body awareness. Red Jasper shouting out to everybody. Since I've built this relationship with my mind-body over my lifetime, just seeing that or focusing my attention on one of those 7 actually is a little mini practice just while I'm walking by, y'all. So this is about putting beauty and art and affirmation in our surroundings. A post-it note that says like, I'm good enough, I'm awesome, I deserve it, I'm worth it, it's coming to me, here I am, rise and shine, hey radiance, hi gorgeous, you're beautiful. Like that is what you need in your life to make the practice come alive, because the yoga is about staying connected to your loving kindness and like infinite possibility in this world. Like we stretch to keep this body healthy, but the yoga practice is about doing incredible things together in these bodies. So another one, right, I said together because yoga is a private practice, but practicing yoga together is like leveling it up, because yoga itself means union. So finding a union, obviously, in a one-on-one context is magical and mystic. And then when we do it as a group, it just shifts that space that it can hold in a positive sense. So here's another tool, friends. I live intergenerationally, and anybody who has multiple folks in their living space, whether it's a spouse or a child or a roommate, knows like energy maintenance and health and wellness is a collective endeavor. If somebody in your home is sick, you gotta make sure you don't get sick, or prepare to take care of them, or be sick yourself, because there's just so many outcomes, and we can design so well, but things happen, life happens. So in my case, it's actually like my mental health that needs the most care in a populated or highly stimulated environment. So I use tools like this magical mothering deck I got from a depth psychologist and coach way back when. Shout out to Stephanie Matthews, who's probably in this group, or at least a few know her. So thumbs up for Stephanie Matthews. and her magical mothering endeavors and all of its positive iterations in our world. I personally have used these cards for a couple of years and found lots of different ways to use them. But the one I want to talk about today in relationship to our home, because what is the September self-care affirmation? The September self-care affirmation is that taking care of me includes taking care of my dreams, taking care of my home, and taking care of our environment. So when I'm taking care of me and my home, I take 7 of these every week, right? And I might spend time with my 7 right then as a mindfulness practice to ground me, but there's not always that luxury. So what that 7 is like a card pull that I can draw from me, like one day that week. I very rarely actually use it in that simple structure. I usually reflect on the 7 and choose a couple to dwell on and then place those near my little rocks in that same thoroughfare. But the thought is getting to this complete deck is totally overwhelming for me on a regular basis, but choosing 7 once a week has been really nourishing to just put certain things into perspective, you know, like inspire. It's just a spontaneous draw, and you can see this lovely artwork. Inspiration comes from being in spirit. Connect with the divine on a daily basis so that you can live inspired to speak, act, and think with more awareness and mindfulness. Seeking the divine can be in the mundane moments as long as we are simply being. There's nothing that has to be done or said except being open to connect. Ask for inspiration in moments of frustration, anger, or intense emotions. Spirit is always ready to give freely and in more ways than we can imagine. Seek inspiration often and you will live in spirit. Right? So these are wonderfully positive affirmations that are focused on just the heart. It's not family-centric or mother-centric, but it certainly nourishes me in my role as a mother. And so you can see that might just be enough, and you put your deck away and you do that little practice to distract your mind from the stressors of life. Like if you gained any benefit from the last minute and a half of this video, it's because distraction feels good and it actually lets background processes going on in our brain do things they need to do. Like creative people need time to chill out and do nothing. And if someone in their life is telling them that they're lazy or not good enough because they're taking that time to maintain their energy level and their brain and their creative gift, then that's like a toxicity in the environment, and we need to design around it to make sure nobody gets sick or hurt. This is the kind of yoga I'm teaching, y'all. So last tool, before we dive into the 3 things you need around your house to facilitate your daily asana practice. Essential oils, asana. We are probably really crunchy who are still in the room by now, but if you're curious, if you're on the edge, if you're not really sure what I mean when I say asana or what essential oils are, welcome to the party. Essential oils are another video, and the ones that I'm bringing out are the ones that I tend to use for aromatherapy basis. So when you're talking about aromatherapy, you don't have to be as picky with your essential oils, but you should always be looking for organic, pure products from a reliable source, ideally a humane, sustainable source. So what are the 4 oils that I'm sharing in celebration of Self-Care September? Because aromatherapy is a teeny tiny injection that makes a big, big, big difference. Our thalamus and hypothalamus and just brain in general really functions. That olfactory sensation can be really helpful for our mindset. And patchouli is my go-to when I feel a little anxious and I need to ground, right? And just a little bit of oil. You can also mix it with your lotions or your oils for your body. Peppermint, this is another one that I use every single day. This is an alternative that I use to chewing gum. I haven't chewed gum in a long, long time, maybe like ever. I'm just never really a chewing gum person. But this freshens your breath and just offers a lot of oral sensation that I enjoy. And it's easy, it's accessible. This lasts like a long time. Always buy organic when you can. The crafty folks are probably figuring out how to do this one on their own. Tangerine has been my latest oil addition to the aromatherapy of the season because it's an uplifting, cheery aroma, right? And we need that. It also pairs nicely with like cinnamon and other holiday scents like cloves. So DIY projects and holiday gifts can be uplifted by my choice to invest in a little essential oil for my mindset. Are you seeing the connection between our well-being and our homes, friends? I'm preaching to the choir here, I know, but this content is super valuable because it can be a reminder when life has become so busy that we've forgotten, or I can make it like more bite-sized, manageable pieces to share with the internet. So thank you, thank you, thank you. The last one that I had in my hand was Panic Button, which is a blend, which is probably just a better conversation of saying a reliable source. You know, if you have a representative for a nice oil company that you could work with on a one-to-one peer level, that'd be great. Young Living, for example, doTERRA, for example. I am a fan of Sprouts and just suppliers that are doing the work for me and giving me a little choice and variety. So this is a blend that I got at Sprouts. Aromatherapies, rocks and crystals, minerals, cards, literature, mindfulness, and visualization. These are the tools that I've tossed out into the Facebook algorithms, the meta algorithms this self-care Saturday. So thank you for whoever's watching. I don't get to see the little insights while I'm talking, but I will look back and appreciate you. What are the 3 things you've got to do to get your daily asana practice on? What does asana mean? Asana is a physical moving practice, and I've been so lucky lately to have folks talk to me about wanting this in their life, and I'm so grateful to say a sun salutation a day can change your life. 3 sun salutations a day can keep you healthy and living long and happily. So asana is literally the word that we might translate in English as pose, and when you start to study the Sanskrit of yoga, you will learn various asana and their names. So getting to your daily movement practice is what we're really talking about, friends. And here are the 3 tips. You might have scrolled past them in the space before. So 3 cheers if you already know them. Having a space ready and available for you to practice. Having an adequate sized space available and ready for you to practice. And a means of quickly rendering that space sacred. So these are the 3 ingredients. What does it look like? What do I mean? I mean, if you've been told by your doctor, by your friends, by the internet, by me, that you should kick your legs up the wall, but you're not kicking your legs up the wall, it's probably because you don't actually have a place to kick your legs up the wall effectively. Like, you're not going to go to your dining room when you're so tired and just thinking, I didn't do that again, right? Or right when you wake up in the morning when it might have the maximum benefit for you, it needs to be close to your bed or associated with your morning routine as it exists now, you know? And the other thing is space. You know, having that space up the wall and the ability to put your legs up it is one corridor of movement that a healthy, robust, balanced yoga practice has. The other is being on your hands and knees with your arms outstretched. That quadrupedal position actually takes a little more than your height, right? Because your arms are over your head and your legs are sticking out and you're moving in circles, right? So this is bigger than you. You need a bigger space than like 3 of you. And not all of us have the luxury of that space. Certainly not without corners or things to slip on in a consistent ground. So this is why you have to do the preparation. You have to have a place where you know you practice yoga, and the temperature and the ground, all of it's okay, because that doesn't need to be an obstacle to your daily asana practice. So adequate space, space itself, and then a quick means of rendering that space sacred. For me, it is a journal, cup of tea, bit of incense, sound bowls. Not all 4 of those always, but any of those will work to initiate me. Others consider a chanting practice or a meditation practice as a way of doing it. But I think having an external, objective thing that never changes, like the dinging of a bell, or a particular scent can be the best. And this might look like a positive affirmation or a beautiful piece of art or something living like a plant. It can have as many expressions as people practicing. That's what's so cool about yoga. So I wanted to keep this digestible. I'm approaching my 15-minute here, and just appreciate you chiming in with what's the biggest challenge to your yoga practice this year's end. I have a lot to say about the year's end practice. The most important thing to take away for today, hopefully it's not the first time you've heard it from me, is that a good year's end practice has 3 ingredients. Be here now. Look back. Look ahead. So, thank you for embracing Self-Care September and the Self-Care September affirmation. I've invited folks to embrace and practice with me. Taking care of me includes taking care of my dreams, my home, and my environment. Our environment, honestly. So thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know what's helpful, what you're practicing, and what's the biggest challenge to your practice, because I'm here to help. Omis. Namaste.